awesome.
Yeah.
Didn't you fight Terramorphous? I fought a big creature like that once. He was a big whale squid with 100 tentacles. You ever thought anything with tentacles? Oh, of course you have. Terramorphous had tentacles. How silly of me. Now, where was
I am so sorry.
The handsome Jack
All right,
mask.
the whale creature. His name was Blowhole the Apocalypse. I call him the Apocalypse for short. And he attacked my hometown of Tsunami's Edge when I was but a little girl. You ever been to Tsunami's Edge? Great town, nice beaches, great food, and the cost of living is just so low. Even being a single grandmother and working part-time in a scat meat processing factory, I was still able to provide for little Mr. Torg. We may not have been able to afford the finer things in life, like food, but we got by. After all, Mr. Torg and I didn't have anything but one another.
Who, me?
A horrible gas leak blew up the iridium mine, killing my son and his lovely wife. From that day onward, my little Mr. Torg vowed to conquer explosions themselves in an effort to avenge his fallen parents. And oh man, I forgot what I was talking about. Where was? All right, the Blowhole, the Apocalypse. So anyway, I was wrestling Blowhole to the ground, and I had my bicep curled around his blueberry throat. Blueberry? Sorry, I meant to say blubbery. I've got blueberries.
I don't know.
on
Let's
the
not
brain.
walk away.
I grow them in my backyard. Mr. Torg helped me plant them.
I don't know.
Again for that grandson.
I love you, Grandma.
Anyway, I have my bicep around his blubbery throat, and Mr. Torg starts crying because he really likes whale squids, and he doesn't want to see me hurt one.
They are the princes of the ocean.
So I let the whale go after giving it a punch in the eyeball so he'll remember me, and it swam away into the ocean. And then I had Mr. Torg drive me to the ice cream
I forget how long
He got
it
me
is.
Rocky Road, because Rocky Road is my favorite. I'm extremely cautious of the way the marshmallows act like landmines of flavor amidst the battleground of chocolate. What's your favorite flavor of ice cream? Is it pistachio? I bet it's pistachio. Oh, that reminds me, you'll never guess who I saw today. Pistachio the Amazing! He's a magician who studied under Crazy Earl, so he's got that weird mustache, you know, but I saw him make a rack hive disappear. A whole rack hive! I said to Mr. Torg,
Just,
Mr. Torg,
two.
wasn't that amazing? And he said, yes, it was, Grandma. Didn't you say that high five? You remember saying that?
I remember, Grandma.
They like us. Shut up.
And we stood in line afterward and got his autograph, and I thought I had it somewhere around here.
They're trying to figure out who's this Korean. He didn't even sound Korean.
I have so many little keepsakes up there. Are you?
Hello.
You're paying attention,
Other
right?
Korean.
Hey, what's my favorite flavor of ice cream?
Well, you can. You just have to make a new
Oh, that's your favorite flavor of ice cream.
You always say you pay attention.
I'm sorry. They don't remember your favorite flavor of ice cream.
I'm gonna tell his Morris. I'm sorry I wasted your time.
Oh. Just.
Oh, my grandma, pretty big fan of yours. Could you go say hi to her?
Okay.
Oh man, it's the Vault Hunter! You are awesome!
Walk
Didn't you
away.
fight Terramorphous?
And you
I
hit you
fought
didn't
a
pay
big
attention,
creature
right?
like that
You
once.
remember
He
you
was a big whale squid with 100 tentacles. You ever thought anything with tentacles? Oh, of course you have. Terramorphous had
Oh yeah.
tentacles.
I'm seeing if Aaron's hopped on. No, not yet.
His name was Blowhole the
Okay.
Apocalypse. I call him the Apocalypse for short. And he attacked my hometown of Tsunami's Edge when I was but a little girl. You ever been to Tsunami's Edge? Great town, nice beaches, great food, and the cost of living is just so low. Even being a single grandmother and working part-time in a scat meat processing factory, I was still able to provide for little Mr. Torg. We may not have been able to afford the finer things in life, like food, but we got by. After all, Mr. Torg and I didn't have anything but one another after that horrible gas leak blew up the iridium mine, killing my son and his lovely wife. From that day onward, my little Mr. Torg vowed to conquer explosions themselves in an effort to avenge his fallen
Well, of
parents.
course, it's a Hot Pocket.
Ah, man, I forgot what I was talking about. Where was... Oh, right! The blowhole, the apocalypse! So anyway, I was wrestling blowhole to the ground, and I have my bicep curled around his blueberry throat. Blueberry? Sorry, I meant to say blubbery. I've got blueberries on the brain, I guess. I grow them in my backyard. Mr. Torg helped me plant them. Thanks again for that, grandson.
I love you, Grandma!
Anyway, I have my bicep around his blubbery throat, and Mr. Torg starts crying because he really likes whales.
No, if that happens, we're gonna do something
Smart
else.
one.
They are the princes of the ocean!
So I let the whale go after giving it a punch in the eyeball so he'll remember me, and it swam away into the ocean. And then I had Mr. Torg drive me to the ice cream parlor. He got me Rocky Road, because Rocky Road's my favorite. I'm extremely partial to the way the marshmallows act like little landmines of flavor amidst the battleground of chocolate. What's your favorite flavor of ice cream? Is it pistachio? I bet it's pistachio. Oh, that reminds me! You'll never guess who I saw today! Pistachio the Amazing! He's a magician who studied under Crazy Earl, so he's got that weird mustache, you know, but I saw him make a rack hive disappear. A whole rack
Taco Bell
hive!
sauce.
I said to Mr. Torg, Mr. Torg, wasn't that amazing?
Oh.
And he said, yes, it was, Grandma. Didn't you say that, high five? You remember saying that?
I remember, Grandma!
And we stood in line afterward and got his autograph, and
Yeah.
I thought I had it somewhere around here, but it's probably in the attic. I really ought to go up there and clean it out one of these days. I have so many little keepsakes up there. You're paying attention, right? Say, what's my favorite flavor of ice cream?
No, Rocky
So you are
Road.
listening. How wonderful. You're an even better listener than my old pet rack, Beasto. Beasto was such a sweetie. You ever had a pet rack? If you can tame them, they are the sweetest pet you'll ever have. He used to just sit on my shoulder and bite chunks of flesh out of my neck to pass the time. I still remember the way he used to tweet.
Oh, man.
Tweet. It was so cute. I had a conversation with him once. I said, Mr. Beasto. He liked being called Mr. Beasto. It made him feel like an aristocrat. I said, Mr. Beasto, you're looking very cute today. And he said,
I feel like
thank
it's giving
you,
me
that's
too.
so nice. Or he tweeted in a way that made me know that's how he felt. And then he lowered his little head like he was taking a bow. It was adorable. Beasto was my third pet rack. First I had Woody. He got hit by a train. Then I
He got
had
hit by a
Anita.
train.
She got shot up trying to take vengeance on the train that killed Woody. And then I found Beasto making little poops on the windmill outside
who
our
knows?
house. After Mr. Torg and I wrestled her to the ground, I did a flying pile driver off the nearby tower tree. Got him straight in the spine and brought him down. We brought him in and fed him some skag steaks until he decided he loved us. I still miss Beasto sometimes. He just died of old age. Rack don't live much longer than a few years, but I treasured the time we had together. Poor Mr. Torg.
Poor
When
Mr.
Beasto
Torg.
died, he cried for a week. The kids made fun of him at school, but I told him not to pay them any mind.
Being in touch with your emotions is not a character flaw!
That's right, high five. Is something wrong? You look confused, Gunzerker. Oh, you probably haven't heard anyone call Mr. Torg high five before. The world may know him as Mr. Torg, but the Flexingtons always refer to him using his middle name. It's a Flexington family tradition, after all, to use your grandfather or grandmother's name as your own middle name. And my husband, High Five Flexington, God rest his soul, was the best grandfather Mr. Torg could have asked for before he passed. He taught Mr. Torg dang near everything he knew about firearms. Without High Five's teachings, I don't think the Torg Corporation would exist at all. Gosh, I
Yes.
still remember the first gun Mr. Torg tried to make after his parents died. A Jacobs shotgun with a stick of dynamite attached to the barrel. Torg nearly blew his face off, but he got up, dusted his mustache off, and swore that by the time he reached the age of 11, he would make a gun that fired explosions without killing the operator. And by golly, he did. It took a couple of dozen prototypes before he got the right combination of gun parts and explosives, right? But once he did, woo-wee! I'll never forget the plume of smoke that used to be my neighbor's homestead. They were jerks, though, so it's okay. Gosh, I've been talking your ear off for some time, haven't I? It's so kind of you to listen for this long. I've taken up too much of your time already. Please don't feel like you have to stick around any longer. As a matter of fact, take this for giving this old woman some company. Woo! You're even more attractive than Mr. Torque said you were. I've got another story for you, but I'd like to tell it to all of your friends at once. An old lady like me has to save her voice.
Oh. I don't. Okay.
Oh, you still want to talk with me? How incredibly sweet of you. Say, you'll never guess who I saw today. Captain Scarlet. She was robbing my retirement home with a few other brigands, and I recognized her from her wanted poster, and I said, "Oh, hey, you fought the Vault Hunter, didn't you?" And she bowed all elegantly and said something like, "Indeed."
Oh, why did I have to pick to listen to her?
Really good at fighting, and that you beat her fair and square. She didn't seem to harbor much of a grudge about it. Nice girl. You should think about meeting up with her again if you're not shacked up with anybody, you know? I mean, of course, you probably are. Gorgeous hunk of a bone. I bet you're beating away suitors left and right.
Yeah.
You're blushing. Oh, I could just eat you up.
One of those nice sight
Mr. Torque was
patients.
so scared of trying to get a date for such a long time. He used to go to parties in high school and just stand in the back without talking to anybody.
I am an introvert!
I tried to tell him, I said, don't worry about chasing love. If you chase your dreams, then love will follow. See, that's the thing people don't get. You watch Echo films and they're just awful. They teach you that the only way to be with someone is just to pursue them over and over until they decide.
I'm not paying
they like
attention. I'm looking in my guns.
reality, you know when you like someone almost immediately. You can't really convince somebody to fall in love with you. You just look like a stalker. But if you do things that you're interested in, like
Still
making
eating
guns that
Hot
explode
Pockets.
or killing mercenaries, then people will see that confidence and skill you have, and they'll be attracted to it. But there's always a fine line between that kind of confidence and narcissism, you know? There's nothing worse than somebody who wants to be famous. I remember when Mr. Torgue first sold his weapons tech to that board of directors, he was pretty egocentric for a while. Taking pictures of himself and posting them to the EchoNet all the time. Trying to hobnob with every celebrity that used his weapons. He came back home one day with a supermodel under each arm, and I said, "Mr. Torgue, what are you doing? You've lost sight of who you are. It's been weeks since you actually created a new gun," I said. And it was true. He's been more obsessed with being well-known for doing something great than with actually doing something.
It was a dark point in my life.
Thankfully, High Five listened to me and got to work on what would eventually become the Kerblaster. You a fan of the Kerblaster? That was always my favorite. That and the Flacker, which I know a lot of people hate. But there's more to combat than just brute efficiency in this old lady's eyes. Style counts for something. And there's nothing quite like filling the air with tiny little explosions. It's like a fireworks show, except the deaths aren't as sad and unexpected. Actually, that reminds me, now that you're here, I wanted to throw some ideas at you for feedback. I'm a playwright in my spare time, and I'm trying to write a story about an up-and-coming tournament fighter who tries to find love in a gladiatorial arena. And I figure you've got a lot of experience, so your feedback would really be valuable. So the play is called Broken Hearts and Broken Necks. Scene 1. Fade in on an arena.
Oh my gosh. Come on, Torque.
Body parts litter the stage. A lone warrior stands in the middle of the stage. A spotlight illuminating her blood-stained arm. She's there, holding her sword triumphantly aloft. Valkyrie. Is there no warrior who can challenge me? Must I be destined to spend my life as the strongest, the bravest, the most invincible warrior this galaxy has seen? For I am Valkyrie, scourge of the gladiatorial game!
Juice, repair, or screw something in the next few minutes, we're gonna have a problem.
From stage left, a janitor with a heavy heart and an even heavier
I'm
conscience.
bummed.
He
Let's
begins
do
splitting
this.
the body parts into a pin, which is colored green, and remember that until melancholy drops his bush coat and falls to his knees before delivering a hard-hit